I stayed in her room for 13 years without any contact with the world. What was the result? Many things children learn through observation and indirect education. If children notice their parents doing a certain act repeatedly, they repeat the same act. But what if the children did not learn anything? What if they kept their room for several years? That is what happened in the United States of America when a poor child lived a traumatic incident that affected her life and still affects everyone who hears her. In 1957, Jenny, a pseudonym for Susan Willie, was born to a father suffering from a mental illness, and he and his wife did not want to have children until they had already lost many children as a result of gross neglect. The girl was the last child to have children, while she was the second child to survive. Father Clark and Wiley suffered severe sensitivity to the noise. Any sound might have been issued nearby, thus preventing the presence of radios or television at home. Beating his wife or son if they spoke somewhat loudly or spoke without permission, and had the first 13-year-old Jenny spent a dark room where she was tied to a pillar all day and to bed at night. Locked up in her room, if she caused any noise, her father would hit her hard stop, where he used to hit her with a baseball bat until her skin became blue. And the resulting consequences reflected on her growth was disastrous, so the girl did not dare talk or even hum. In this way, Clark thought he was protecting his daughter from the demons of the outside world. He refused to feed her any solid food. She ate only infant food, usually made of grains, boiled eggs and liquids, fed only 3 times a day. His wife, Jenny's mother, also had psychological problems after a horrific accident that she lost most of her eyes when she was small, so she could not help her daughter. Jenny's brother was too young to do anything. Under the pressure of the father, neither the mother nor the brother dared to speak or create a relationship with the child Jenny. All these reasons have had a negative impact on the physical and mental development of the girl. There are not enough areas in her brain to grow properly, preventing her from walking or talking. The girl could not interact with the fluctuations in the heat around her. At age 13, she was like a 7-year-old girl. Jenny lived in this monstrous house until she came to the crucial moment in her life. In October 1970, after a fight with her husband, she was almost blind to escape from the house with Jenny in her arms. In social services, supervisors noted that something was abnormal about Jenny. She looked very small and had malnutrition. When investigations into the case began, Father Clark committed suicide to escape responsibility. She was taken to a children's hospital where she underwent several tests by specialists, psychologists and linguists. The researchers were especially interested in the case of Jenny, because they wanted to know if she could learn to speak at this age. At the time, she was only able to say a few simple words. Her behavior in society was also very backward. When she is stressed, she urinates or stifles herself. She spit non-stop and practiced masturbation even among people. The girl was completely passive and did not show any sign of empathy or interaction with others. But she made great progress, especially in terms of vocabulary and communication with others. Jenny was very smart. She was able to tell sophisticated stories, not words, but pictures. But despite intensive training, she was still unable to produce grammatical sentences, and remained far from being independent after 5 years of training. Specialists were shocked to see that Jenny was unable to fitting phrases of a meaning. Their forced isolation permanently damaged areas of the brain that require stimulation from a young age to learn to speak. In 1975, funding for research stopped because the case of Jenny was no longer of scientific importance. At this very moment, Jenny lost any support and love. After her mother got her right to custody, Jenny returned to the house she suffered. The mother, of course, was unable to pay attention to her daughter properly and help her properly. Jenny moved from family to family and then ended up in a nursing home, where she still lives today. Few people know the story of Jenny, who is now 60 years old, because of the legal ban on contacting her. Jenny has inspired a number of writers and novelists to write about her situation. A television series entitled Body Shock has been produced in addition to a book and several articles written about children who have been forcibly isolated and executed.